Let's talk about the differences between Google Ads and Meta Ads. And this is going to apply to basically all home service businesses, but there's a main difference between Google and when I would recommend that you do Google, and Meta, and when I would recommend that you do advertise on Meta, which is Instagram and Facebook. And before we start, hey, I'm Carl Stoy, the founder of Stoy Media, and to make a long story short, we deliver leads to home improvement companies like roofing, windows, bathrooms, whatever, on a pay-per-lead basis or as an agency. And we can talk about all of that on a call, what would be better for you, and you can click the link in the description and book a call there. But let's talk about the difference between Google Ads and Meta and when I would actually recommend that you run Google Ads. And to be frank, it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone to be running Google Ads because of many different things. So let's run through it. But I first want you to understand the difference. What is the difference between Google Ads and Meta Ads? Not just Google Ads is search, Meta Ads is Instagram and Facebook, but like what are the actual differences in the results, in the types of leads that you can get, and the type of price you're going to pay for it. So first off, the intent type. Google is getting you people who are interested and looking up. And by the way, when we talk about Google Ads, we're talking search. So someone actually looking up roofing company near me, bathroom remodeling company near me. So this is going to be people interested and looking for your thing. Think of it like a visual example. If you are in a garden of butterflies and everyone's goal was to catch a butterfly, well, the people paying to stand next to the bush are going to get not only the easiest butterflies to catch, and so they're coming towards him. You just have to swing your net and catch them. You don't have to move. But the other people, Meta, you're going out and finding them. And I'm not gonna write this down, I'm just gonna make sure that you're taking notes. So I don't want you to just watch these videos just to watch them. I want you to watch this and take notes. And so Meta is going to be you running and going to go catch the butterflies, which is very possible. All of our pay-per-lead programs are ran on Meta. There could be other platforms in the future, so I don't want to just lock myself into Meta. But Meta is 100% a viable source of traffic. If you're ever concerned about the quality, there's a different video about what to have in place before you even start marketing, which is very important that you watch because it's actually going to make sure that your Meta ads are successful. But the intent type for Google is someone is looking up your thing. Meta is you finding them at the right moment, which is possible because the same people who are submitting stuff on Google are also the same people who may be potentially submitting forms on Facebook. And that could mean that you are also getting that lead. Now, for the bidding type, Google, and I'll write for this one. For Google, you have a CPC. You have a cost per click. Since for Google, you're paying per click. For Meta, you have a CPM, meaning cost per 1,000 impressions. And let's be clear on one thing. Impressions and reach are two different things. Impressions is someone just seeing it. So let's say 5 people saw your ad 10 times, that's 50 impressions. Reach is one individual person. So if 50 people saw it, you have 50 reach. If only 5 people saw it, then that's 5 reach. So that's the difference. You're paying for someone just seeing it, even if that same person sees it multiple times. And let's be clear, for Meta ads, someone may have to see your ad like 5 or 6 times until they submit the form. And it's 100% possible that that is the case. Someone just needs to see your ad a handful of times and then they will finally submit. So that is the difference in bidding. And you want to ensure if you're running Google ads, you have a good landing page. You have someone picking the right keywords, which sometimes may require an agency like Stoy Media. Now from there, your creative output. On Google ads, and by the way, please stick around for number 4 because this is the most important factor to whether you should run Google ads or not, because Google ads could either be a total flop or a really successful channel for you, and it really does come down to number 4. But let's talk about number 3, your creative output. For Google, all you have is headlines. You have a landing page, that's it. You're targeting a keyword or someone looking up something along the lines of roofing company near me, bathroom remodeler near me, pest control company near me, whatever. You're targeting people along the lines or searching something along the lines of what you have, and then you're showing them your headline. So it's not something that can fatigue. On Meta, on the other hand, your creatives can fatigue. So if someone sees your same image, your same video, hundreds of times, eventually they have this mental shortcut in their mind because they already know they're not interested. They're gonna hear those first couple seconds of your video or just see a quick glimpse of your image, and their mind automatically already knows because they've seen this 100 times, I'm not interested, and they just keep scrolling past it. Now, you can 100% have an evergreen creative, which an evergreen creative is a creative, aka the image or video that you have as an ad, on there for a very long time. That happens, but that's like 1 in 100, and it's usually images. So you want to be sure that if you are running Meta ads, you are able to keep up with the creative volume, or you have an agency making all the creatives, aka the image or video that you're running as an ad, that's a creative. You want to make sure that you or the agency are fully capable of making enough creative. And sometimes we may ask you for a couple videos of your guys saying something or a couple photos. That's different. But you need to be consistently switching out the creative every single time you start to see a dip. So, and of course, there is risk tolerance, there is bad periods, so you don't have to switch it every time. But those are very rough media buying guidelines. But this is the last one. This is the most important part to your Google Ads success and if you should do it or not. You see, on Google, and I'll write this down because it's very important. On Google, it's winner takes most. So let me explain what that means. Then on Meta, and I'll first introduce this before I explain it, but on Meta, it's anyone's game. So we're gonna put anyone. See, on Google, the person with the biggest brand will usually have the highest click-through rate because everyone knows who they are. And if they have the highest click-through rate, they tend to have the highest ad rank. Meaning, if someone can outspend you and has a better brand than you on Google, has more reviews, more people talk about them, they are more likely to get the click. And just to be clear on something, now I don't know if this happens to everyone, maybe 80%, maybe even 20%, maybe I'm totally wrong about this. But when someone searches up roofing company near me, they tend to just click the first link, which is usually the sponsored, that's a Google ad, and then they just start looking everywhere else. Meta, maybe they'll go on Google Maps and start calling around. So it's also very important that you call your leads quickly, even though it's Google ads. But the thing is, it's usually winner takes most. They end up ranking the highest because they have the best brand, the most reviews, the most positive word of mouth. People already know who they are, and they have an everywhere brand, which is a different video I made on this channel about making your brand go everywhere, increasing your brand kind of knowledge amongst your people, amongst your area and your service area, so that you can have a better brand. But anyways, the people with the best brands tend to crush on Google, and the people with the biggest budgets. You see, I talked about CPCs a moment ago, and just to make sure you have all the information about Google, the CPCs on Google are pretty high. I mean, we're talking, I've seen it from $30 to $100 per click. Meaning, even if they don't submit the form, even if they submit the form and eventually don't turn into a job, that's still a click you are going to pay for. From $30, I've seen it all the way down to, I'd say $30 is like the minimum, $10 at the worst, or at the best technically for you, but $10 to like $100, it's a big range, but you tend to get clicks in like the 20s to the 30s range, and depending on what you're targeting. Anyways, I'm getting off track. If you do not have a big enough budget to support all the people that are going to have to click on the landing page and not convert, and then all the people who fill out the form and don't convert, you are probably not going to be able to succeed on Google. What type of budget should you expect? I'm assuming that's what you're asking next. The budget you should be running on Google Ads is near $10,000 a month in ad spend or more. That's like the baseline. If you want to succeed on Google, you should be spending at the minimum $8,000 to $10,000 a month in ad spend if you want to see good success, because as I mentioned, winner takes most. If you have a low budget, you're not going to get a lot of clicks. And then those few clicks aren't going to turn into a lot of conversions just because that's how it works. Landing pages don't convert at 80%. They convert at more like 10 to 20%, depending on how good it is, depending on your brand, depending on the situation, like what promise they came in on. There's a lot of things, but they don't convert at 80%. They convert at like 10 to 20% if you're good and if you're sending good traffic, targeting the right keywords that are relevant. There's a lot of factors, but $10,000 is usually where I'd recommend. The thing is with Meta, it's anyone's game. So anyone can run ads on Meta and start to see a good amount of lead flow. Because what ends up happening is the big guys with the biggest brand in your service area will get the lead, and then you will show up next because they just submitted a form looking for a bathroom remodel quote or a roofing quote or whatever. And then the next ad that'll pop up is another roofing company advertising their roofing services. Even if you just click on the landing page, you're gonna start seeing more people. So on Meta, one person will submit, oh, I see another one. Anyways, people are gonna get more than one quote, so they're gonna submit on the next one, and maybe the third one, and maybe that's it. But that big guy got them in. He was the first one who got the lead because he was spending the most, and then the rest just kind of funneled in. And so that's how you can get anyone to win on Meta, whoever calls the lead first. But on Google, it's winner takes most. And so after all the information I have here, I've talked a lot. The intent type, Google is, and I'll write it down, Google is inbound traffic, and Meta is almost like outbound. I mean, you are doing inbound, but you're finding the leads. Yeah, we'll put it like that. You're finding leads. For the creatives, you are needing more creative for Meta, so we'll be more creative. And for Google, you don't really need, not really. We'll just put not really, for not really needing creatives. And so let's run through this. When I would recommend Google Ads for a home service business is if you are looking for very high quality leads, are willing to pay a lot more than most people, so you have a budget of at least $10,000 a month for Google Ads, don't really have a lot of reason to do a lot of creative output, and you're cool with just paying per click. And by that I mean you have a good landing page and you have an agency or yourself running good keywords. Meaning, if I set up a keyword called, free money near me, you're going to get a lot of clicks, you're going to get a lot of traffic to your landing page because it's a very popular keyword and it's free money near me. Who's not going to click on that? But if it's not actually what you're offering, and on the landing page it says something like totally different, like get a free quote on your roof, well, you're going to get a ton of traffic, but you're not going to get a lot of conversions. If you are a home improvement company and you're interested in getting more leads, getting more at-bats to close homeowners into your project and have the sales processes, have the setting processes, and just need more leads, then click the link in the description. There's going to be a place for you to book a call. We can run through all of it on the call, so go ahead and book that call, link in the description.